Hello, hello. Yeah, it is Friday. Means giveaway day. Get to draw for a a weekly draw from our online summer giveaway program. But I'm gonna make you wait till the end of my video. That's way more fun for me. Keep you in suspense. Welcome to everybody joining us on Facebook and YouTube. All the good comments that should be in every YouTube video is if you like this channel and you like what we're doing, like and hit the notification button. You can do that on Facebook too, and then Facebook will tell you when we go live. It's pretty slick. Welcome to a Friday edition of Leah hanging out in the back in the studio by herself, with a tiny little bit of direction and some really good ideas. And we're gonna do a little tiny bit of serging today. Few announcements. Got some fun fabric behind me. So first off, on the announcement front, new Bernina Sale started on Wednesday. There's a whole bunch of really good entry-level machines on amazing pricing. That goes on until August 31st. Lots of the machines in that lineup would be a perfect machine to hand off to somebody moving out to go away to college, who has relied on you to mend their pants and fix their stuff their whole lives if they're moving away for college this fall, because you might get to do that live and in person. Maybe they need their own machine, and we've got some really good entry-level Bernettes and Berninas that would fit the bill for that. We also have all sorts of videos up on YouTube for new owners content, so get to learn to sew. There's some really good quick little projects. There's some good stuff up there. There's lots of videos. We're making more. We have some ideas. A whole bunch of ideas. There's also information going out into today's e-news for those of you with a Bernina 770 who are thinking you want to upgrade. We have information on the upgrade kit, which will be coming in the fall, which will give you more bells and whistles on your sewing side and more on your embroidery side, as well as a fancy new ruler foot, which is called the 72S, which has a little slit in it. Lots more functionality. It'll be a really, really sweet upgrade. We've got a pre-order price on it right now. I don't have one yet. As soon as I get one, I think we're going to install it live or record it anyway. One of the two. So you'll be able to do that install yourself. There's a new embroidery module coming. I figured out pricing on that today. It won't be in the e-news because I didn't have it ready in time. But if you call the store and talk to our sewing machine team or email sewingmachines@mysewingroom.ca, they will hook you up with that information. That's also coming in the fall. There is new special editions coming. We'll have information in the e-news for that next week. I can only do so many things in a week. So coming up next week, we've got our first Kimberbell a la carte for our Dealer Exclusives Volume 3 program Friday morning. So that's the 30th. Yeah, that's the 30th. Today's the 23rd. So there's a little in the hoop zippered pouch. So if you want to see how to do in the hoop projects, it would be a great class to attend. And we're doing it virtually, so you can sit at home in your PJs on your deck while you drink coffee in the morning. It sounds perfect to me. Very excited about that. And then you have to supply us with a USB stick to get your designs from us. Ooh, just reading through comments here. Hello from down in the States. Welcome. Tomorrow morning, I'm teaching Bernina Creative Studio software class, and we're talking about stump work. So this is just the craziest little thing. Let's see if this will switch cameras. So stump work is kind of like freestanding applique or freestanding lace with a wire edge in it. So I can bend that however I want. It's very, very cool. So we'll be doing the digitizing for that tomorrow morning. And there's new Bernina software coming, so we might have a quick look at what that new software looks like as well, and the upgrade path from your version 8 forward. So that's the lace, not the lace, the stump work. That's the stump work. Ooh. And if you're reading comments, we have a mystery quilt program that you could still sign up for. Our long armor Barb has written a novel and designed a quilt, mystery novel and mystery quilt. We've been running it as a monthly block program. So you'll get a chapter of the book and a block each month. And then we have a sew along class partway through the month to teach you how to make that block if you can't do it on your own, or even if you just like to hang out with other people. And you can still sign up. It's awesome. It's going really well. We've been seeing photos of people's mystery blocks as the months roll along here, and it's super adorable. So that's that fun thing. Coming up next month, we have Home Sweet Haunted Home, another Kimberbell event. This one is brand new. We're running it almost as soon as we could potentially run it in Canada, with having to get things across the border when they release officially. So our instructor kit arrived today, and our student kits are in the mail, and there's a limited number. So if you want in on that class, you have to call and register. It's $199 for the 2 days, and you'll have all the projects and embellishments to make all 5 projects, and all the stabilizers as well. So we're just finalizing. Anne's at home making samples. So early next week, I'm putting her on a deadline. Early next week, we will have those Home Sweet Haunted Home things in hand for real to touch and smell and sniff. And we're not going to lick them. That's still not appropriate. We're not allowed to lick the samples. We're not geologists. So that's the rule around here. No licking the samples other than that. Touch, feel, hold, show, all those good things. We'll do that next week when those are here. I think that's most of the main stuff. Most of it. Back behind me, we've got some wax canvas. That's what Anne was working with for fabric today for her Bernina Creative Studio project class. She made a little cord carrying folder out of wax canvas, so it's water resistant. And it's got elastic to keep all your bits and cords organized. It was a quick, easy project. Use some serging, use some sewing over elastic. Lots of really good information on working with some specialty things that maybe you're afraid of. And the class was recorded, so if you weren't able to attend this morning, you can still get access. And then cord nicely in there, all tucked away perfectly. And then we'll wrap that up and take it with us home through any weather. Even if the weather that we only are going to get this year is hot and dry. We'll be ready for next year when it's wet again, because that's how Alberta runs. Hot, dry, wet, 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 hot, dry. So if you're looking for wax canvas, it comes on a roll. It's super fun to work with. You do need to clean your needles and your feed dogs as you go, because you will get a little bit of wax buildup. But just a little bit of rubbing alcohol does wonders on the above. So those are some of the things I wanted to share. Let's change gears just a little bit. I'm going to show you some of my favorite serger tips today. Anne had brilliant ideas, but she had other homework, so I get to do the serger demo today, which I'm very excited about. I like serger demos. And the serger's already threaded. So these are a couple of my tips for serging. Maybe not all of them. I have lots more, but this is the relevant ones for today. So we're going to go to that camera. Right now I have this serger set up for a 3-thread narrow serge. This is a Bernina L460. And we're going to do a couple different things as we go. Might need slightly more fabric. Grab a little more fabric. So, my first tip for your quick serger demo instruction day is anytime you set up to do anything on your serger, test first. That's just a rule. That's not even a serger tip. That's just a good sewing rule. So with a 3-thread serge, if you're serging away and you have tails beginning and end of what you're doing, weird scraps from my peppermint swirl dress. So as you serge, you're able to use that knife to cut off your tails. What do you do with this loose floppy tail? That's always a good question. One of the easiest ways to manage it is to use a snag repair kit or a loop and tail wand. So this is another use for your expert embroidery loop and tail wand from OESD. There's also a clover version, but we're sold out at the moment. I know they'll be coming this way, but they're not here yet. So with this loop and tail wand, carefully sneak it out of its package. It's a tiny little rasp. So it's got a really pointy end that's quite sharp and a very textured end right there. So what we can do to tidy up these serger threads is we can push that pointy end through our previous serging stitches as far as we want. We don't need to go super far. And then as you get closer to the raspy bit, wrap that tail of serging need a little looser there. Wrap that tail of serging back through. And essentially that's pulled most of our tail through. Could have cut that tail a little shorter. We've pulled that tail back through the end of our stitching. It's all nicely secured. It's not hanging out loose and floppy somewhere else. And then we can trim at that point. Depending on your thread and your fabrics, it might be easier to use a slightly smaller version, and the clover one might be a little bit easier because it is just a little bit thinner of a rasp. So that's one option. We also have a thread pick. So this is a clover soft touch thread pick. Also great for picking up a thread and moving it where you want it. Also top secret packaging. Ooh, the packaging is stapled. Makes it way harder to demo. So same idea. Has a tiny little crochet hook on there, essentially. So we can go do this the other direction. So on this one, we'd poke it through and hook those stitches. Hopefully hook more than one. And same thing, you'll be able to pull that loop of stitching back through under your previous stitching line. Just tidy up your serging just a little bit. So Can't see through the camera to do this. It's very bright. So another tool that you could use to pull those threads nice and smoothly. Put that one away. Put that one away. So next serger tip is turning an outside corner, because there's just times in your sewing life where you want to serge around the edge of something square. Dropping down and doing outside corner with a 3-thread serge is easier. So I've just got 2 little pieces of fabric here together. We're going to trim as we go. And then as you get closer to where you're turning, if you cut a notch of fabric, the distance between your needle to the front of your knife, out the width that you're cutting off, you'll be able to turn the corner seamlessly without a weird bunch of fabric. Roughly 1 inch on this machine. A little notch inward. So as we get to that point, we're going to take 1 stitch off our fabric. You can lift your foot. You're going to pull gently backwards to release the thread from the stitch fingers under your plate. And we're going to line that back up in front of the needle. It's already started cutting. And we've gone around our corner. Let me do that once more. The second corner. You could definitely do this step without your fabric on the machine, so you don't forget. So again, 1 step off, drop the needle, release the thread slightly to the back, just line it up right back in front of the needle. So you can get all the way around something. I've got a weird loopy leftover bit there. Let's go stitch one more thing. Let's do a start and a stop. So another way to start and stop and keep your thread tails tidy is as you start, this is tip number 3, starting and stopping neatly. It's a 2-part tip. Ooh, there's some good questions in there. I'll answer those in a moment. So we're going to take 1 stitch into our fabric. We're going to lift the foot, and that tail that's coming out the back, we're going to pull it backwards. And then on a Bernina serger, you can pull the stitch finger towards you to help release the stitch, and then put it back. And you can bring that tail up and over under your foot, and then drop your foot again. This will be how you start. We're going to stitch over those threads. Nice and easy. And then when we come to the end, we're going to take 1 stitch off our fabric. And again, same thing. We're going to release the stitch finger towards us, lift the foot, gentle tug backwards, and then we're going to flip our whole fabric piece over and put it in front of the needle. So it's a flip like that. And then it's just in front of the needle. We'll put our stitch finger back where it was. And then we're going to stitch forward again. We're now on the what was underneath on the bottom before. And we'll just angle off. And then our first tail at the beginning, all tucked in. Second tail, it's falling off the edge. But if you grab one of the threads from the loopers, a little pair of tweezers so you can see what you're doing and grab the thing you want to grab. You pull one of those looper threads, you can tighten that stitch right down along the edge of your fabric. Super tidy little finish. And that's held tight enough that you can just trim that off. And then you can have nice square corners with nice clean finishes at both ends. Those are my 3 serger tips for today. Do you guys want a bonus 4th one? I think we need a bonus 4th one. Let's do an extra one because I'm having fun searching. Don't tell the people who labeled the video that I'm doing an extra one. So my last tip is how to remove your serger stitching. Process is mostly the same whether you're doing a 3-thread or a 4-thread serge. I'm going to grab a slightly different piece of fabric so that we have a clean edge to start with. This is easier to see with all one color, or with different colors in, but we're going to show you how to tell which is which on a 3-thread stitch and how to remove it. Because we'd like to say that sewing is always perfect, but it's not. Sometimes we have oopsies, and sometimes we need to make adjustments. So on my 3-thread serge, the stitches that will be awful if you try and pick at them are the looper threads. So they're the ones that wrap over the edge of your fabric, front and back. On the back side of your stitch, your looper thread goes up into the loop, down and across, up into the loop, down and across. On the front, your looper threads make little, almost like teardrop shapes. And your needle thread, all it's doing is it's a little Loch Ness monster going up and down, up and down, up and down. So when you go to remove serger stitching, you want to remove your needle threads, not your looper threads. Removing your looper threads will require hours and hours and hours and hours of picking, and you'll hate your life and never want to risk doing anything wrong with a serger again. If you can get in there and pick up your needle thread, it is just a little Loch Ness monster going up and down, and it's hooking over those looper threads front and back. This is a 4-thread serge. You'd start with your right needle thread, which will go down the middle of your stitch. This is a 3 needle. We're just going to take out the needle thread. So once you get a couple stitches picked up, and again, practice this with threads that are all different colors, which is how I recommend you learn to use your serger anyway. And that little needle thread is pretty happy because it's just a Loch Ness monster going up and down. It's not a big scary thing. That's our needle thread out. Sorry, that's our needle thread out. That lovely loose thread there. And looper threads removed. Totally doable, totally easy. No swearing, just a couple moments instead of hours and hours with your seam ripper. So there you have it. My 3 and a bonus serging tips for the day. It's lots of fun. I'm not afraid of serging, and you shouldn't be either. But I think the reason people all came to join us today is because it's Friday, and a whole bunch of people shopped online last week during our OESD virtual event, and a whole bunch of people qualified to get into our weekly draw. The bucket's heavy. Odds aren't quite so good this week. So if you'd like to get entered into our weekly draw for a giveaway sponsored by Brother, you get to shop in our online store and spend $50 before tax and shipping. We're doing weekly draws until the end of the summer, so August 31st. And then roughly September, first week of September, after I'm back from a couple days off, after the long weekend, when we've got everything compiled for the whole summer, we're doing a giveaway for a Brother NQ575 sewing machine. So somebody's going to win a sewing machine in September based on shopping online all summer. So I think that's a pretty sweet deal. I made the rules so that I can't participate, even though I did shop online a week ago. Super disappointed. But that's okay. I know people if I need a sewing machine. I might have one or two at home. So this week's gift bag, I know Sandy and Deb peeked last week, but Dawn got smarter. She made it harder to peek. There's tissue paper. It's a surprise. Apparently we were cheating. So shop online to get entered into this. Sign up for our e-news so you're getting all the announcements and all the information when you need them. And I'm gonna draw a name out of this. There's way more names in here. And if you shopped during our OESD event and you liked how the site kind of worked, please let us know. You can email Order Desk or Webmaster if you had thoughts, feelings, whatever the case may be. So I'd like to congratulate Donna Cruikshank. Sorry. Donna, we'll give you a call. A name I haven't seen in the bin before, which is always super exciting. So yeah, all of these names as well as Donna are going to go into the bucket for the end of the summer draw for the sewing machine. And keep shopping online. We greatly appreciate it. And we appreciate it when you come to the store too. As far as store policies on masking goes, our door is open, so you don't have to stand in the door and wiggle the door anymore or ring the doorbell. And we just ask that you do wear a mask. Because we're not all vaccinated and we'd like to be, but we're not there yet. So as things get closer to that, we will make more announcements. But that's how it is again this week and the coming week. That's what we've got for you today. So thank you for joining me. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Looks like it might not be a billion degrees outside in Alberta, so that's gonna be lovely. we might enjoy the outdoors instead of just melting. And we'll see the people that come in and shop. So thanks guys. Have